and this is where we go into the Halal Stock Hunters portfolio review. So our current portfolio, we've got a couple of very interesting stocks in our portfolio. Let me have a look. And as you know from last week, we were looking at ICLR, which was Icon PLC. We had taken 50% off. We had hit our first take profit, and we sold off half our holdings when it hit our take profit zone, which was at 245. And so we currently have 50% of the holdings in our portfolio for ICLR. And we also have two more other very interesting counters which we want to share. So let's look at ICLR and hear what Adi has to say.
All right, so let's go to ICLR. ICLR. ICLR is Dentsply, right?
Icon.
Icon, okay. All right, so this is the daily chart of ICLR. And we first covered, right, this stock on the 27th of July. So, and the price was at that point on the 28th. What was the entry price, Afiq, if you might?
ICLR entry price was 225.2.
Okay, let me just put it here. At 225.2. Okay, so right now price is at 240.65. It has hit our take profit position here, right? TP1. And usually after we have entered the price and it goes our way, we have entered and it goes our way, we will put a protective stop loss at 229. All right, which means to say, okay, let me just mark the entry point in green. Okay, so entry at 225.2. Okay, 225.2 is where we entered. So you can see that it has actually gone our way. Alright, so price have actually gone all the way and it hit our TP. And after that, what happens is that we're going to put a protective stop at 229. So just in case, the second half of our position that we are still holding on to goes down, all right, if it goes down lower, and you know, at least we will be exiting this trade with small profit for the second half of the trade. But however, why are we doing this? Okay, we are doing this basically, we don't want to go into a loss, right? So we are protecting that position. But in case it didn't go all the way to hit the stop loss and the position suddenly continues higher, all right, then we will be taking more profits, right? So we want a risk-free trade right now. So this is considered, if you once you have a protective stop, we consider it as a risk-free trade because we're not risking our own capital, rather we are risking the market's profits that actually we are having right now. Right, Afiq?
Yeah, I'm really excited when I was looking at ICLR. Right now, we've already taken half of our profits already. So now we're just watching it as it goes up to take profit 2 level, which is at 271. Right? So yeah, our next TP2 is at 271. So we're excited to watch ICLR and see how this little machine keeps going. Should we cover our next one, which is another lesson, folks? So the lesson for today with ICLR is have to take profits, take 50% off the table when you've made some money. But what happens if the trade goes against us? And so this is the lesson for today. We're going to look at XRAY, which is Dentsply Sirona. We covered that last week as well. There you go, Dentsply Sirona, very, very nice company. But it gapped down over the past few days. And so we had set a stop loss at 59. Our entry point was 64.88 and our stop loss was 59. So if you look carefully from the charts, we've actually hit our stop loss. And what do we do?
Yep. So this is where we entered actually. The price actually went our way. I think there was a bit of a bullish momentum last week, and we saw that. However, this bearish engulfing candle, this indicated that the best came in and pushed this the price of Dentsply lower, and in this case, it even broke below our moving average. And this second candle basically is not a good candle at all because it has closed below our moving average and at the same time closed below our entry price. And then we have a gap down, right? We have a gap down and then another bearish candle which actually touched our stop loss, and right now it's hovering around that particular level. So in this kind of situation, I do not want to be in this stock at the moment. I want to get out. Basically, why? Let me just explain. You can see that we have a higher swing high here, and then now we have a lower swing low. Right? If you all can remember, if we have a higher swing low, basically there's a potential for the trend to be bearish, right? So you can actually even go lower than where we are now, right? So it can do that, and I don't want to be in this stock, so we are out. It's okay. It's part of actually being in trading and investing. We need to have a stop loss. If not, it can go your way and basically take away all the profits that you have made on the other stocks, right, Afiq?
Yes, absolutely. So here's the lesson. Do we give in to our emotions and say, no, 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 it might go back up, the whole cycle of grief and all, where there's bargaining and then there's denial. So no, we have a set of rules to follow and we are going to follow those rules. And so because we did hit our stop loss, we are going to take that loss and find a better opportunity. Do we cry about it? No. Does it hurt a little bit? Yes. But do we move on? Absolutely. Okay, so we are going to be moving on. And so the lesson for all of you out there who are watching, always have a trading plan, stick to the rules, right? Because it might seem that, it might bounce back, it might, but it also might go all the way down. Right, Ali?
Yep, and a few things to take note. We have this slanting line at the bottom. It has broken below this slanting line, which is a bearish signal. On top of that, the volume is also quite high when it actually fell. So we have a lot of people selling into this fall actually. And yeah, hopefully we can always come back to this stock, Afiq, and see what happens in the future. You see whether it's going to continue its uptrend or if it's going to go lower. But it's always good to share with the audience, and that we take a very cautious approach, because the markets can actually be Santa Claus, but at the same time it can also be the Reaper.
Absolutely. And so I want to cover our last pick for last week. We actually picked this particular one, Pacific BioScience. You remember we picked Pacific BioScience, and it seemed to be an interesting counter to go in. Our buy price we got in was at 31.24. So if we look carefully, 31.24, we had a take profit at 36. Today it's at 33. So it's about almost there. So what do you think, Ali, when it comes to Pacific BioScience?
Okay, so our entry is at 32.15. I'll just mark it here.
31.24. Our buy price is 31.24.
31.24. Okay, so we are in a profit actually, and I kind of like the fact that when we bought it, it actually went up straight up, and then it went up to about $35.43. But I think right now with this candle here, I think this thing is basically, it's hard to say. I think I would rather go into another stock, Afiq. Why don't we just take profit where it is right now, and wait for the next setup?
Okay. So your call is, let's lock in the profits that we already have, which is about 6% up, so we're about 6% up. And so I'm going to key in the exit today on the 10th of August. Okay, key in the exit on the 10th of August, PACB. And we're going to sell 100% so that we can look for a better opportunity. Yes?
Yep. Also, just to share with the audience, let's about the stock market right now. There are three main things which actually is in the minds of investors and traders right now. Number one is the monetary policy of the US. Okay, basically they are thinking about not continuing the expansionary kind of policies. That means they are trying to retract, increase interest rates is the next thing. They're looking into that. And also there's another issue here, which is the Delta variant, which can throw a curveball actually to the market, because if it continues to get worse around the world because of this new variant, then I think the market is going to retrace, from where it is right now. And a lot of investors are also worried to enter now, because some of the stocks are at elevated levels, especially if you look at stocks like Apple, for example. Microsoft is at its all-time high. So when stocks go to all-time highs, traders and investors, they get a bit jittery, because it can just fall from those highs back down to lows, right? I mean, just look at Pacific BioScience. In this case, what happened was that at highs of around, you have highs of around $53. It came down to around $20. So that's a loss of more than 50%, right? So that's the reason why investors are afraid when things go to all-time highs, right? So yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, so just be careful. If you see stocks at all-time highs, you might want to actually take a back seat and then just observe. Because for myself, I think for Afiq as well, we prefer to buy at demand zones actually. So demand zones, basically are zones whereby you see price bouncing off from those levels. All right. So for example, for this particular stock, you see that the demand zone is around the $25 level, $28 zone. Right. This particular area is where it's best to buy. So it's okay. We entered around here because there's a breakout, and then we wanted to see whether the momentum can push us higher. But with this kind of black candles, showing up, I think that it's going to be a sideways market for Pacific BioScience. So why don't we just get out of this and look for other stocks?
All right, sounds good to me. So we're gonna say that PACB, we're gonna exit the whole thing and get out. So folks, if you're following closely our model portfolio, currently we are moving out of XRAY and PACB. We're currently only watching ICLR. And if you tuned in to Picks of the Week earlier, you know that we're looking at both Zoom and maybe MongoDB. Maybe. All right. So I'm going to stop your share right here. We've come to the end of our portfolio review for Halal Stock Hunters. Do let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share. Let us know how we can do better, or what are some of the other stocks that you are interested in that we should be covering. Now, all our stocks here, we've done our halal screening for Sharia compliance, so you can be assured that we won't be talking about certain companies that are not permissible. So this is Halal Stock Hunters looking for halal gems in the stock market. And it is Afiq, Chief Finance Director, Finance and co-founder at Halal Investment Network. And this is my fantastic good friend
Adli here, signing off, and just sharing with you guys what I know, and hopefully you have gotten some good points from today's sharing. Hope to see you in the next session.
Alright, we'll see you next week at our next Pick of the Week and portfolio review. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and salam al-hijrah. Happy New Year, everyone.